What's going on, you guys? Good afternoon. It's your boy Bill Mahari here, representing Mahari Nation Sports Podcast. Much love to the entire LDBC and the basketball community. If you want more basketball content, tune in to Basketball Conversations every Friday night, 9 p.m. Central Time. It's where we discuss basketball-related topics, news, debates, and everything else in the world of basketball. If you're new to the channel, make sure to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon to get all the latest notifications when I start dropping videos and live streams. Little quick news flash for you guys. For tonight, I won't be able to do my show. I got some family stuff that I got to take care of later on tonight, so I won't be able to go on tonight. But I will go on tomorrow night, Saturday night at 9 p.m. Central Time. So just a little quick note: I won't be on tonight, but I'll be on tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central Time for my show. Okay, just thought I'd let you guys know off the bat. All right, with all that out the way, let's get down to business here, shall we? So I was kind of reading an article from essentially sports.com, and it was basically an article that was a bit of a reflective article that a lot of people don't remember about. I did for a little bit, but I temporarily forgot about it before the article was kind of printed. But this is about the iconic photo of Kobe Bryant after the 2001 NBA Finals. Now, to set the scene for you guys, this was after the Lakers just wrapped up winning their second championship in 2001 over Allen Iverson and the Philadelphia 76ers. Okay, now, as you guys know, the Los Angeles Lakers during 2001, they were kind of off to a so-and-so start. They were 23 and 11. They were, bickering. There was conflicting issues between Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe Bryant at the time. But there was more to the story that people did not know about at the time. And it reflects about something that happened during Kobe's personal life. Now, here's what happened here, okay? Kobe Bryant had a falling out with his parents, okay? And because the reason was that they did not approve the marriage of Vannessa Laine, now Vannessa Bryant. And they had multiple, financial differences and everything else in between. But particularly, it was running around their marriage. And reading from an old article from Sports Illustrated, I completely remembered it from off the rip. They did not approve of Kobe Bryant marrying a Latino woman, and they were trying to refer him to date an African American woman. Excuse me, couldn't get those words out. And they were both they were both uneasy talking about Kobe's parents about the devotion to her. At the time, she was 18 years old and Kobe was 21, and so they were not they were not happy about the marriage about with him and Vannessa at the time, and it led to a falling out. And because of that, Joe Bryant, who's the father of Kobe, did not attend any of Kobe Bryant's games throughout the playoffs and did not attend any of the games during the 2001 finals when they were in Philadelphia, which Kobe Bryant was born from. And so it was kind of reflective on the fact that it's just a very sad thing because what you've heard a lot of different cases all the time where families did not approve marriages from their kids, and it turns into a bad falling out, and then it takes about at least 5 to 10 years for them to just basically patch things up together. And so I felt bad that really happened to them because Kobe did not deserve that. Now, eventually they were patch it up years later with the birth of their first child, but it took a long time for them to do that. But Kobe, as the great player that he was, he kept his emotions in check, kept it to the side, and did his business. And throughout that 5 game series against Iverson and the Sixers, he averaged 24.6 points per game, 7.8 rebounds, and 5.5 assists during that entire 5 game series. And there was more to the stuff about Kobe's parents that really hits home with a lot of different people, and I'm sure it does for some. Because remember, in 2013, Bryant's parents were basically auctioning a lot of Kobe Bryant's uniforms and his 2 championship rings, which also includes the 2001 ring. These were all the stuff that was basically gifted by Kobe himself, and without his knowledge, they basically auctioned that stuff. They basically auctioned that stuff to basically try to buy a new house. And Kobe was not happy about that. And he tried to get the stuff back through a lawsuit to no avail. Um, but Kobe's parents, basically wrote a statement later on, and this basically said they regret with their actions about what they did to the memorabilia. But Kobe did not let that go. You know what I mean? And even though he was able to forgive them, but he did not forget about it. And as you remembered about the letter that he wrote to himself on the Players Tribune in 2016, he basically said, and whoa, and quote, the most important advice I can give to you is to make sure your parents remain parents and not managers. And he ended it by space saying, trust me, setting things up right from the beginning will avoid a ton of tears and heartache, some of which remains to this day. And it really hits home to a lot of other people because you can see how Kobe was basically evolving into a role model, into a parent, a strong-minded parent for his kids, and all of that was taken away from the damn helicopter crash that happened in January of this year. You think about this. He was supposed to celebrate the first birthday of his child, all right, Bianca, okay, and that's been taken away from him. Now I've seen a lot of different people. I checked the comments through people and through people through that article. Basically, some of them were still saying like, "Oh, Vanessa is showing herself way too much on social media. She's putting herself out too much." Listen, I don't give a damn what the woman does. She is grieving from the loss of her husband that was basically taken away from her unexpectedly. Be in her shoes. Be be in her position. Know what the kind of pain that she's feeling with right now. She is never going to have her husband ever again. And as for Kobe's parents, they're going to look back on the fact that they made all these mistakes with Kobe at the time, and they're going to have to live with the fact that they can't turn back the clock and take it all back. So this is not your battle to die on. Learn to show some damn empathy, okay? It's unfortunate that these circumstances happen. It's very, very sad. And no matter what happens from here on in, Kobe's legacy will never, ever be forgotten. Ever. And when you look back at that photo during the 2001 finals, he was sitting in the locker room, cradling the Larry O'Brien trophy, just sitting down and just crying because his parents weren't there with him to celebrate with him. And when people asked about, oh, what he wasn't. What was he crying about? Was he crying about tears in basically an elation of winning a championship? It wasn't about that at all. It was more on the lines of the fact that he just wished that his parents were here and celebrating with him because he was still a young man. Because remember, he was only 21 in 2001. People tend to forget that he came into the NBA basically as an 18-year-old, and he was 21. He was already a three-time All-Star. He was already a two-time NBA champion at the age of 21, and his stardom was basically growing exponentially. There was a lot of pressure on that young man's shoulders, and for him not to have his parents with him during that period of time, you could understand what he was going through throughout the entire year of 2001. It was probably one of the most hardest years right up until the bogus sexual assault case back later on in or later years later in 2003. And so I get all these things, and it gives you a proper perspective of what he was going through during that period of time. But for all these people that always keep bringing about all the dark stuff about the hidden family secrets, whatever, this is not your business. This is not of your concern. The man is dead, and all these stories do not matter in the grand scheme of things. Learn to live, learn to close that door and move on with your lives because this is not your concern at all. But I wanted to give you guys a little bit of informative piece there for you guys because there's a lot of different stuff that people like to spread rumors about. I will make sure to post a link to the article in the description box so you can read it for yourself. But at the end of the day, Kobe Bryant, had a great legacy for himself on and off the court. All right, and sure he had his mishaps and his mistakes, but it doesn't take away what he did for basketball and for all of humanity. And no matter how hard you tried to swing at it, no matter how hard you tried to negate it, his legacy and everything that he brought to the sport will never, ever be forgotten.